Jimmy. Jimmy. James, son.
Welcome back to another episode of the JimJims channel. I'm your host, JimJims. This here is a 1998 Toyota Corolla VE that I picked up yesterday for 900 money units. You can see that I paid a little bit less for it because the fender is mismatched. I should say mishmashed because it's a completely different color, and the hood is a little crinkly bobbed right there. The tires are absolutely immaculate on it, and the paint is pretty nice, honestly. The front is in pretty good condition. The front is not all crinkled up. This side is actually perfect, apart from the fact that there's a green door on it. Notice that the color of the door, not the same as the rest of the car. Also, the door handle here is just completely missing. It's also completely missing on the inside. Also, the door handle here is missing. Also, the door handle there is missing. Also, every door handle is missing. So that's a pretty typical Toyota issue. You can see that the back end of this thing is immaculately beautiful. It does look quite nice. The paint is very nice on this vehicle. Now, this one is unique in that, unlike most Toyotas that I pick up, it's slightly different. You might be asking yourself, well, why is it slightly different? Let me reach my entire fist inside the door and show you. You can see again, no door handle. So unlike every other car that I bring to this channel, this is a 5-speed manual transmission, a manual. And I love me a manual transmission. I just don't get the option to find them very much, not in Texas. And this is the main reason I bought it. I'm gonna show you. 121,000 original miles. Now, we'll go ahead and start her up. Push my little footsie on the clutch right there. Put one foot on the brake. Starts right up. No check engine lights whatsoever. That's just the emergency brake. That's, seat belt, and that's the door. So if we shut the door, light goes off, and of course I'm not putting my seat belt on, but you get the idea. I'm gonna turn it off because I don't need it running right now. This thing has almost no miles on it. And look at that, I may have made a boo-boo by locking myself inside the car. Oh man, there's always something around here, eh? You gotta sort of just fish your hand through here and open it from the outside. But that'll be remedied soon. I already have a door handle coming for it. It does have a semi-nice radio that does not work whatsoever because the wiring is all ripped up. And notice this, where the air conditioning button should be. There is nothing. This car is not equipped with factory air conditioning, just like a 1994 Geo Metro that I once owned. This thing, the hood release, unfortunately is kind of fucked up, so you have to just pull on it like that. I'll be fixing that. Let's go ahead and take a look under the hood. It's got the 1.8 liter 4-cylinder, I believe. Sounds like a bunch of people are trying to get a hold of me, but we can't answer them right now. It's got a fairly recent battery, a very nice engine bay. It's definitely got the proper windshield wiper fluid in there. And it looks like somebody's replaced the wiring for the spark plugs. And also it looks like at one point it had a sub and or amp in it because it's got this hideous contraption on top of the airbox. Now, it runs really well. It drives spectacularly well. And there's already a few things that I've done to it that you didn't get to see. I replaced the steering column surround because when I got it, it had no steering column because the vehicle was stolen previous to me getting a hold of it. And I also got these hubcaps from the Junkyard, which I'll go ahead and shift to the Junkyard right now. Well, we're at the Junkyard now, and I know a lot of you like to watch when I come to the Junkyard. I guess in some places they don't have Junkyards, so, or at least it's not as legal as it is here, but this is a Corolla. We are here to take the steering column cover for mine because mine does not have the steering column cover. And I already ordered the door handles, so I don't need that. And maybe we'll look at a few various little pieces here and there. But this is the main one, so let's get that off. I gotta say I'm a little disappointed in Toyota right now. To get the column cover off on 99.999% of vehicles, okay, there are bolts down here that you simply remove. But on this one, you have to remove the steering wheel. So, shame on you, Toyota. That is despicable and disrespectful. So, not happy about that. So, by the grace of God, basically, I was lucky enough to have brought a 3/4 socket. Otherwise, I would not have gotten this off. So, Toyota, you guys, that's a no-no. I don't know why in the world you would do that. I guess for anti-theft measures, but Jesus, guys, come on. And if you're wondering why I cut the airbag wire, some of you are going to be like, oh my God, you're destroying parts. The airbags are no longer for sale at this Junkyard, and you can no longer buy them. It is illegal in this state. So, I destroyed nothing. Anyway, let me go ahead and take these screws off, and I'll take this column cover. Well, looky here. Today must be my lucky day. I found the floor mats that I've been looking for basically years. I found the side marker lenses that I need for my van because I broke them when I was cleaning it. Oh man, too bad the driver's seat's all f***ed up, right? I'd taken that too. But there's quite a few things I need from here. So we're gonna take a look at what we can and Jimmy jank the rest of it. Oh, it's a 91. Mine's a 93. Close enough. But yeah, I'm gonna start the process of taking what I need. Man, I'm just in the money today. It's a good day for Jimmy. Damn, my finger looks bent. Looky here, the Lord is with me today, boys. Numero uno, numero dos, numero tres, un numero cuatro. 4 hubcaps for a Toyota Corolla with the Toyota logo on them. Complete set at the junkyard. You never find that shit. So, man, I'm gonna go ahead and pray to the heavens. I have found all the things that I needed today. Now let's get to going. Well, the door handles have finally come in, so it's time to remove the actual panel. And you can see as soon as I started to unclip this panel, this fell out. Not even connected properly or anything, and I think it's a Prime. Ooh, I've never heard of that before, but we're gonna find out, eh? Let's go ahead and grab this. Just set the door handle and the panel over here. Alright, fall down 8 million times and piss me off. So here's what we're looking at. We got a dangling, oh, that's probably why they busted off the things that go here, so we're gonna have to fix that. And look, there's the hole where the door handle needs to go. So let's get to putting that door handle in, huh? So here's the cheaply made newer outer door handle.
So cheap.
Again, it's cheaply made, kind of expect no less for 10 bucks. But we are having a bit of problem with the retainer bolts that hold it in, so along with that rod there. So I'm gonna have to do some kabobbling and see what I can come up with. Our good friend Smokey Robinson has appeared. Isn't that right, Smokey Robinson? Yeah, I don't see the cruisers anywhere. But I love you very much, and thank you for appearing whenever I need you to come help me. So let's go ahead and put this door handle in. So here's the new outer door handle with the lock properly installed. Hey Smokey, there you are, buddy. And it works. As you can see, it opens the door. Now I just got to install that new inner door handle right there, and I can put the panel back on. Well, the inner door handle is now on. The quality is this door handle is a little less than thrilling, so I may have to purchase another one. Surprise, surprise, the internet yields fruit again. But the door closes. It can be opened from the outside, and it can be opened from the inside. One thing I don't like about this door handle, see how it kind of sticks out a little bit, and it just kind of stays like this when you pull it out. Yeah, something with the rod linkages is not quite right in there, so I'm gonna have to go check inside the door one more time, but I will do that later. For now, at least, I can open and close the door. That's more than I could do before. That rhymed. Well, we tried our best with this fender. I believe the paint color is teal metallic turquoise or something along that. Teal metallic mica, a very, very hard to find color. This is green pearl metallic, so very, very similar. You can see the paint is very similar to here. It's even got the correct shine, but it's just slightly off. So I think we're gonna leave this fender how it is for now, and I'm gonna see perhaps if I'm gonna do the door. I don't really know if I'm going to or not, because honestly this is pretty close, and the door here is just not even remotely close. You can see that it's just green, hunter forest green or whatever. But the door handle is fixed now, so you can open it and you can close it, which is what we were aiming for in the first place. So the important part has been taken care of. You know, at least the fender looks better. Looks a lot better than it did. Let me take this wrapping paper off and see how it looks. I mean, you can definitely tell it's not perfect, but for $20, I think we're going to call it what it is. Good enough. That's going to probably remain that way because genuinely I don't care, and it's my car. This is not a for sale car. And this one, well, we'll see. But for now, at least, it's looking a heck of a lot better. I do really like this car. I do love me a Toyota Corolla. That's for sure. So you can see I've removed the radio bezel. It's right there. This thing surprisingly has a provision for a clock. So even though there is no clock, just a blank plate, you could just throw one in and it would work because of this wiring harness. But anyway, this radio has a short that causes it to come on in the middle of the night for no reason and drain the battery. See how the battery's dead in this car? There's no lights on or anything. So unfortunately I'm going to have to pull this out and see what's going on. There are a couple of Phillips head screws on the sides here. So let me take this out. So this is a very typical spaghetti loom wire that I find when I remove radios. Somebody has the brilliant idea of cutting all the wires because that will definitely make the radio work. And then they cut the wiring harness adapter and they just don't reconnect anything. I have no idea what I'm looking at here. What I am looking at is basically someone is taking the wiring harness and sliced it, and luckily it wasn't the actual Toyota harness, it was the aftermarket connectors. So I'm going to have to go buy a new connector setup and probably just, throw in a new radio while I'm in here because this one's just ancient. And you can tell that they just didn't do the finest job. So we're going to properly reinstall the radio harness, and maybe we'll go pick up one of those Walmart radios I love so much with the Bluetooth, because this is a nightmare. So I've come under the hood to take the battery to get it charged, and also to take this crap off that you saw previously in the video. This was some kind of amp wiring setup. We're just going to go ahead and remove that. It's basically called a mega fuse. Not a mega C to make a fuse, Morty. We're going to remove all that. Somebody put some like putty down to stick it in place, and it just is completely ineffective. So let's go ahead and yoink this battery out and remove all this crap while we're at it. So the battery is out, and I have traced this wire from here all the way down there, all the way under the dashboard. Then I came this way, pulled all the plastic trim here, found the wiring here, went all the way through the B pillar, plastic came out there, all the way under this back seat, and all the way into the trunk, where we find wires completely cut and agitated and just sliced for no apparent reason. So all this has to come out. I know a lot of you say you can just cut the wire and tuck it back in and it's gone, but it's not. Gone but not forgotten, unfortunately. When people do shit like this, you end up with bad grounds, you end up with wiring taps into wiring looms where there should be none. So the best case scenario is just to remove it entirely. That way you can go back to fresh and put a nice radio in it that actually works. So give me a little bit of time and I'm going to yank this giant ass wire out. At least it's the proper gauge. Well, there's all the spaghetti removed. If you're wiring a car stereo and this is what you end up with, you've done something wrong. This is way too much crap to just be sort of laying in the floorboards and along the plastic trim. So I removed all of this. I put all the plastic trim back in. You can see that it's all back in now. And the next thing I have to do is go pick up that radio from the store because we got all the weird stuff out of there. So we're going to need the new harness adapter. We're going to need the radio. And I think that's it because these Toyotas use a standard wiring. Yeah, they use a standard radio adapter plug. So that's all we need. I guess I'm going to go to the store now.
2,000 years later.
Alrighty, it's been a couple months since I purchased this Toyota, so I'm picking up in the video where I last left off. I just sort of left it in the yard for a couple months because I never really got around to it. Anywho, I'm going to explain what's going on here. This thing has really thrown me for a loop. So that aftermarket stereo that was in the car did not work. And no matter how many aftermarket stereos I would put in it, nothing would work. So I eventually figured out I had to put a factory unit in it just to get a baseline of everything being OEM. And then I hooked up all the OEM connectors like they should be. And I started taking out wires. Now you can see the sill here is missing and this wire here is exposed. You can see these wires have been cut and crimped for now, along with this connector. Who knows what that goes to be honest with you? I have no frickin' idea. If you look here, this has been dissected. The seat has been completely removed. The back of the seat has been completely removed so I can get up in here. And if we go around to the trunk, all of this wiring was found underneath the back seat. And it's still kind of poking out right there. And then we go to this side, and same problem. And then we go to the door, same problem. Now you're probably wondering, Jimmy, why the hell did you completely disassemble this car? Well, because I wanted to figure out this stereo issue. Every 3 days the car's battery would just go stone dead, and I knew it was related to the stereo, I just didn't know how. And I finally figured it out today. So these wires come straight through the car's door panel here, and it actually comes out right here. Underneath the fuse box, you can see purple and pink, Bob's your uncle, right? So if you were to tug on this wire, which I'm not going to do, it would pull on this wire, and it would go to these Rockford Fosgate speakers. Now this was attached to two black wires that ran all the way around the car, and for some reason looped into each other. So the first thing I did was I looked over here and thought, well, maybe something's missing that I'm just not understanding. And I looked, and I looked, and I looked, and I looked, and if you don't see it, it's because I don't blame you, alright? See this plug right here? There's something missing. Now, on this side, I was much luckier to be able to find out what was wrong, because somebody had kind of left a little telltale, and I love it when people screw up because it allows me to figure out what's wrong. If you look at this thing here, this thing sort of connects into the footwell here. And it was, if you look at these two colors, bright green, mint green, and blue. Now if you look here, 2 wires were disconnected. When I found these wires, they were just cut, mint green and blue. Now I traced the wiring all the way inside this door and found out the speaker wires that come out of this is like a lighter mint green and a blue. So, you know, heads or tails, you kind of have to put 2 and 2 together on this one. If this connector used to go to these 2 wires, and these 2 wires are just sort of dangling in the breeze, they probably need to be connected, right? So I took this OEM stereo I had lying around in the garage, plugged it in. Hey, Pink Floyd, nice. But there you go. Now I figured out A, why the stereo would not come on no matter, or the radio, the speakers would not make noise no matter what I did, and B, why the radio was dying, because somehow something was draining the battery when all of this was disconnected. Once I connected these wires back together, the radio has stopped draining altogether, and it has stopped killing the battery on the car. The only downside of which is now I have a Corolla completely disassembled in my fucking driveway, which is irritating. Ooh, look at that. What's that? Ooh. That's a new project, of course, because boy do I love me a project. But now I can at least put this thing back together. This car I'm actually not going to be keeping, like I said earlier in the video. I know I love to say that and then not keep cars. I'm famous for that. Not unlike Randy from Auto Auction Rebuilds, but this car I'm giving away to my dad. That was his old car right there. Remember that? You've seen this car in so many videos, it's not even funny. And it finally croaked. It ate the water pump and caused a number of other issues. So I'm going to be fixing that car, and we're going to be doing something with it, but that's going to be way later in the future for these videos. I have no time for that shit right now. I have cars stacked up back to back that need fixing. So to put a very long story into a couple of minutes here, the person that owned this car before me, by the way, was an Air Force engineer. If that doesn't scare you, I don't know what will. This is the people that run your country, are people fucking screwing with wiring systems to the point where it causes shorts. So, be afraid, be very afraid. But now that I figured out what's going on here, I can put the whole car back together and get the speakers working. Thank God. So I put the filthy Corolla all back together. All of the plastic is back where it should be. You can see this door handle is kind of broken a little bit, but all the plastic is back together. All the seats are there. And now, when you hop inside the car and turn on the stereo, okay, that song sucks. Anywho, it's fixed. Now we have a stereo. So this is going to do it for the Corolla. That's about as fixed as it's going to get. The reason I'm not fixing it up completely, my dad has a habit of trashing cars, That's why I give him cheap-ass ones. Otherwise, I'd give him a nice car. Because, if he took care of it, why, I would have no problem giving him a nice car. But he doesn't do that. So this Corolla will live on, hopefully, a good long time with him. It's got very low miles, so I don't see why it would die. And I'm the one that does all the maintenance on it. So, hopefully it lives a good long time. Next, we have this bugaboo. I'll just show it, I guess. I don't see why. There's no point in being a dick and being like, well, I guess I'll show you next time. That shit's annoying. Anyway, so look how fancy that one is. Boy, this is a one-owner car, in case you're wondering, and I scored on this baby. I scored.
This is it, baby. We're finally gonna score.
So, I'll catch you next time, and hopefully you guys will see the video on this coming soon. I hope the Corolla project was as fun for you as it was not for me, because, boy, this was a frickin' pain in my butthole. Any hoodly doodly. We'll catch you guys next time. Bye.
Longshoremen telling me some of these containers have been sitting here for 6 months, with a shortage of truck drivers to get the goods on the highway and into stores. It's not just making things harder to find, it's making them more expensive.
Today, we face an economy that's in transition. And as part of that transition, we are seeing high prices for some of the things that people have to buy. But the reality is that the only way we're going to get to a place where we work through this transition is if everyone in America and everyone around the world gets vaccinated.
Bruh. Here's Eastern Europe's favorite cat and mouse team, Worker and Parasite.